Hello, welcome to another of my marathon in doing lots of interviews for security assurance coordinator. So here is another job role which I had applied for and got the interview for. So this one, as you can notice here, we have got IA, meaning information assurance consultant. Now, when you see this coming information assurance consultant, just know that this is not a role which the MOD is doing, but is a third party to the MOD, external body to the MOD, bringing in these different things. They might say GRC consultant, so they have got different names they are referring to. But you can know that they are talking of the same as SAC, as we know in the MOD, meaning Security Assurance Coordinator, by the job role and what you'll be doing in that job role. So let's go into this one. Here it says you have to support development of information assurance compliance. So in the other presentation, I mentioned what a compliance is whereby there is already a framework or a spreadsheet you'll be following from the first point to the end, filling in for the compliance. Is not flexible. It's something which they will tell you this is what you need to do to be compliant. So this information assurance compliance program, this could be brought in into where you will be working by this consultant. So they would have already this process going as part of them delivering the support to that organization which they are looking for their services. So that's information assurance compliance program. Here it says review of the information risk log. So this review of information log is this program will have those information risk log which you can look at and know how it's working, so that whether here it can we could say is compliant or not in compliant. And if it is not compliant, then you have to put measures in place so that that risk shouldn't be there. We should be compliant, or else you get a penalty out of it. Now, the second point here says provide guidance. Now, in providing guidance, whose guidance is this? This is the MOD guidance, which you have to know. Hence, they have put here JSP 440, 441, 890. So this joint publication, like 440, is a journal for cybersecurity in general in the MOD. So you have to know lots of these joint publications to do your job as part of the guidance. So someone could come with a question based on policy or governance. So these are some of the framework you have to look into, because they are very authoritative to the MOD. And here it says, and support the, so this is the consultant company, based on existing MOD and governance security policy. So it's the same thing here, which we have mentioned, that is the joint publications here. Now, if you can see here, we have got this ISO 27001. Here it says application of industry best practice. Yes, to use ISO 27001 is the best practice, but you have to learn and buy, because you cannot get it for free, the ISO standard. You have to buy it. But you can go online and look at the videos where they just explain roughly in brief what the ISO 27000 is. But you can download the NIST a framework which is 800 series, you can also use that around here. In fact, the NIST 800 series is also mandated that the MOD on MOD projects, people should use that. Now, going to the third point here, to work with projects to ensure that cybersecurity requirements are included from the beginning of the IT system. This is a big point. When you are given a project for you to manage, make sure you understand the requirements and make sure that you could be able to go back to the CISO or anyone high up or the project manager to say, no, I cannot understand the requirements. Is there a chance I come to your site to make sure that I understand what you're dealing with, so that these requirements, you understand them properly, because that's your deliverables. So this should be included, especially at the beginning of the system, because if they come very late, it's very hard to start going back to change things. It's very hard. So making sure that you get clear, you as a SAC, on the requirements. Now, here these application deliveries and throughout the development cycle. Now, this development cycle, it depends what the your manager will tell you their cycle they're going to be doing, or else it will be the MOD cycle. These cycles might be different. Engineers, they have got different cycles. Um, People doing cybersecurity, they've got also different cycle in different ways. So make sure you understand what their cycle they are using. Most of the chances they will use the NIST cycle. Now, here the fourth one is to assess compliance with information assurance objective. Now, when you are assessing compliance, you this is a straightforward way of assessing the compliance, because you would have a spreadsheet with everything you need to satisfy that compliance. So the information assurance objective, they'll be different to the compliance, because this could be to do with a risk, or it could be making sure that this compliance is finished, its objectives are met. Then you have got also policy and standards. This is sort of like a general outlook on the information assurance as a whole. So all the time, if there are policies, this could be the organization own policy, which are not policy like the JSP 440. They could be their own. So you just need to go around and understand what is their policy and the standards they are talking about and which they are using. Now here, identify opportunities for greater business benefit through improvement of controls. To identify opportunities here, I call this looking for the gaps. So in one case, let's say people, instead of pushing the project to CIDR so that it can be looked at with the eyes of the accreditor, people could just think, I will just do a risk balance case. So people can do the same project with risk balance case without sending it properly to the channel to get accredited before they can ask that accreditor if they need to do the risk balance case, or there's a need to do risk balance case. So those are some of the things you have to know, that they are in place. People are not sending risk balance cases straight to the manager just to say, yeah, I'm okay with my appetite, you can do this. No, it has to go through the proper channel, and also through the same proper channel you can ask for opportunities that maybe you need risk balance cases to be done, so that the project could be delivered maybe in 2 days instead of a week. Provide an independent opinion on whether information assurance control objectives are being met. Now, here is when let's say in the point I made already for identified opportunities, here sometimes the your manager, this maybe is the CISO, wants to make a decision on something on that project, because you just need to make sure that you have got enough information for the CISO to make that decision, so that either it looks independent, or either you could call someone independent to come in to provide the same under maybe your control, so that they can present their objectives to the CISO, and the CISO can say, I don't think we will meet this or not, but it has to be the CISO who could call those shots. To recommend responses to assurance findings. This is now the stakeholders' job. Who you could also, because it depends the project you are doing. If it is a small project which you have been given authority to respond the findings of that assurance project going on, you could fulfill that as a response back, but you could also escalate that risk now to the hierarchy. So you have to be in a position to make those decisions. Not all decisions will be made by the CISO. It's a sort of a shared responsibility here. To arrange, manage, and conduct ISO 27001. Now, to manage and conduct this is the implementation of 22001 ISO standard. This is not a small job, it's a big job which needs maybe a team to make sure that you're following everything. But the ISO is drawn in such a way that it's easier to follow from start to finish using the ISO steps. And here is continuing saying, and assurance audits at lead auditor level if required. So this you might not do it, but you might be able to assist in doing it. So here act as impartial assessor for information systems risk. So this is very important because it attacks your integrity. You have to make sure that you are doing something, not because you have some qualms with the person you are doing it for, but you have to make sure that you are doing it objectively and you are keeping your integrity. Because if your integrity goes out, then people can't trust you. This job requires good trust. Conduct initial accreditation assessment and plan accreditation approach to new targets of accreditation. So a project in a project, when we are doing accreditation, it changes its name. It's not a project anymore. It's called the target of accreditation, TOAs. So the target of accreditation here, it says conduct initial accreditation assessment. So any project, when you are given, first of all, either you look at the IT health check to gauge, to assess what is the risk, what is the threat for which will pose that project, or it could present to the wider as an impact to the organization. So you have to assess that first, and then you have to start planning the accreditation approach, how you're going to put it through the, whether it's the channels which are amber, red, and green towards the for the accreditation to the side. So here I'll stop here for a bit so that we go to a board and I can show you the 3 channels we use, because they're very important for you to know. So this is sort of my whiteboard. Let me get a pen and let's draw some diagrams here. So first of all, here you have a project. Let's say the project you have is your organization wants to use, let's say, Linux as the operating system. So this unit will just call unit X. So this is the MOD. Now here on this end you have got the accreditor. You'll find this in CIDR, which is cyber directorate. Then here we have got a ticketing system called DAT. Now this DAT system will have a terminal which will present about 100 plus questions. These questions, as I mentioned, that they are based on CISSP course. Then you have the other terminal with the accreditor there. So if it is red channel, when you are sending red, so red, it means is secret. Then amber, it means is TLB. So the TLB could be Navy, RAF, or Army. Now, these are not the only TLBs. There is also other organizations which are also called TLB. TLB, remember, is top level budget. Then you have got green. So the green channel, it means 3 years will be given on that certificate so that they come back to do their accreditation. Red, it also means that CIDR themselves, they are going to provide an accreditor because there is too much risk of things going wrong here. So the CIDR will be the one assuring that. TLB will just be either Navy, Royal Force, or Army as for now for this. Green, it will be the owner sending it and getting an answer for it to say there is no risk we can see. So this is Linux operating system. As you know, Linux operating system here is in the public domain already. It's open source. So anyone else can look at the information, everything else. So this is in public domain. So when you approach that you need to accredit a system, only we want to accredit Linux operating system, you send it through that, and when it comes to there, they will, because of your field, the questions, and the questions you have filled shows that this product is okay to be used as green, you get now your 3 years for reaccreditation. So after getting 3 years accreditation, then you don't need to come back to them, but you come back after you finish it so that they can do reaccreditation again. But if that system is being used on a secret system, the Linux also becomes secret. So hence you send it to the accreditor. Let me just get a different color to explain. So here you send this system in the channel in that when it comes to the accreditor there, then the accreditor will now come from DIAS to assist you in making sure that these services is accredited. So he will give you the demands, he will give you the template on what you need to look for so that you can satisfy that. Now the other one, which is Amber, the Amber channel, you also send it through to that like you did the other two. Then you fill in the questions. When it comes to here, and the accreditor inside, they see that is Amber, that means they will send it to the TOB straight away. They won't deal with it. They will just send it to TOB, because in the TOB there, they will have, the Navy will have their own accreditor who will be satisfying with the unit. So they'll go to the unit and say, this is what you posted to DIAS. We are here to make sure that it's accredited. So this is what is called the that process. So this that process is what is expected of you to know. So you can know all these. You have to know the questions. If you have got CISP already, that's a bonus, because you could do this job easily now, because you understand the risk involved in there. All you need to do now is look at certain publications. Some of them, the first one I'll point out is the industrial. So this is industrial notice, is security notice. So this is a publication which any third party to the MOD, they need to follow. Then you need the JSP 604 or 440, and there might be a couple of others also. If you are working with the Cabinet Office, you get the I think it's VS 007, and you could also get the Orange Book, and also you get the NIST, I mean the NCSC, because they do lots of publications such as IS1 and IS2 publication also they do. So those are some of the resources you need to look into, but we'll go also on separate videos and just looking at this. So that's enough for today. So in the next video I will do is just to go on some of the questions which they did come up on this interview. So with that, I thank you for viewing.